man, been a long time.
It's been a hot minute since we've recorded.
Been a long time.
First off, and not much importantly at all, work has been insane.
Oh, really?
Yes. Trying to find time to do this has been crazy too.
Yeah. Yeah, more or less. I don't know. I've been pretty busy too, but yeah, scheduling I guess has just been the main thing. But I know last time you talked to me, you said there was something that you wanted to talk about, and you were waiting for when we were on the show.
I wanted to do it on the show, but I also want a group of us.
Oh, really?
It. Yeah, I mean, we could start it off with you and I, but like, I definitely want some more, or some different perspectives. I mean, they may not even be different perspectives, but it'd be interesting to see different people's points of views from it. So I guess it's still different perspectives.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about whether or not, well, more accurately, do you believe in right and wrong?
Yes.
Alright, and explain it to me why you believe in right and wrong.
Why I believe in right and wrong?
Yeah, why do you believe there's an actual, like, I guess the question really is there an actual thing? Because, like, people believing it is a totally different
are
thing.
you asking if there's universal truths?
Essentially, yes. Is there a universal truth of right and wrong? Like, this is wrong, this is right.
Oh my goodness. I'm not. Okay. So, objectivity and subjectivity.
Yeah, that'd be the difference between them.
So is there, do you believe in objectivity?
Like, in the sense that there is a actual truth.
There's
or
objective
right and
truth.
wrong.
It's not even objective truth. There's objective
Right.
facts.
Yeah, facts that something is right or wrong.
Objective fact versus subjective feeling.
I think most things, and like we can't go that deep in it on that subject. Mainly for the fact is
this is where you start. This is the base of the tower.
Then, all right, fine. We're gonna go.
We have to start here to get to objective
we're starting
truth.
at the top. Objective.
To start from,
truth
is there
way
absolute
at the top.
truth that? Yeah, exactly. So we've got to start the groundwork here.
Which is, do you believe
subjectivity and objectivity?
All right. So subjectivity, when it comes to right and wrong, in my opinion, is all feelings. Now, are there actual objective?
No,
right
we're gonna
wrongs?
start. We're starting even. Okay, subjective and objective. We got to start even. We got to start even less.
Yeah.
Is there something that can be objectively good and objectively bad? Is it objectively well made and objectively poorly made, or is it all subjective?
I think most things are. I think almost all things are subjective.
Then there's no way I can argue with you about this.
But
like
now,
because you've already taken the
objective
point.
truth is that there is a sun. I see it. It's there. All right, that's it. That's a
That's
fact.
just your opinion, right? It's subjective.
No, the objective truth is that there is a sun. We both know that it exists, and it's right there, and it gives us heat and all that. That's an objective truth.
Mm-hmm.
The objective truth, we also live on a planet.
Yeah.
Like, there are those things that, like, that's non-disputable.
Yeah. Everything can be measured that way.
But what I'm talking about is there an actual thing as right and wrong?
Yeah. It's objectivity. Yeah.
As right and wrong?
Yes. They're objective.
How? What falls under the objective of right and wrong? That's what I want to know. It's like, how do you determine that this is objectively right? This is objectively wrong. Period. Dot the end. There's no if, ands, or buts about it. This is right and wrong.
Killing another person.
But
Objectively wrong. Murder specifically.
I love it because you brought up the one thing that I actually had an argument with someone about. All right, so murder. So you go off and you kill a man or a person, whatever.
Yeah.
That is wrong.
Yep.
Now, a person breaks into your house and you kill that man.
That's not murder.
How?
That's different than murder.
How? Explain. Because you just killed a person. Murder, all it is just killing a person.
No, it's not. Murder is different.
No, how?
Look up the definition of murder. I don't have my phone. That's also why in court we have 3 or 4 categories.
Yeah,
killing
which
someone.
is why I don't think it should be okay because
murder
you're killing.
is wrong.
Killing is killing. Period.
Yeah,
At
no.
the end. Yeah, no. If you kill someone, you kill someone.
Yeah, but
Period.
if you're
At the
killing
end.
someone in self-defense, it's not murder.
Then that comes down to a definition thing. But killing someone is killing someone.
Right. Taking life is taking life. I agree. But the thing is, it's about.
How is that not right or wrong then? Like, how can you determine that killing someone
murder
period
is wrong.
killing someone?
Murder someone
Or is right
wrong.
wrong.
Yeah, murdering is wrong. objectively. Defending yourself from being murdered is acceptable.
The unlawful, premeditated killing of one human being by another. Killing someone unlawfully with premeditation.
Yeah.
Alright, so the difference is I have to plan it. But you can still get murder charges without premeditation.
Yeah, that's when it's manslaughter.
So, like, saying that...
And there's different degrees of manslaughter.
Yeah, but we count those as murders.
They're different categorizations of it.
Then it doesn't make sense. That's not an objective truth.
Killing someone to defend a family member or defend yourself, things like that, it's not wrong.
I think killing someone is wrong.
I agree.
So
but that's not the objective. That's subjective.
Yes.
That's our subjective opinions on it. That's our feelings on the matter.
The objective truth, though,
the objective truth is that
murdering is murder.
Murdering is wrong, yes.
No, just in general. Any form of killing another human being is considered murder. Even as humans, if we change the title, which is, that was manslaughter, accidental manslaughter, that was this, that, or the other, killing someone is still murder.
No.
Yes.
No, it's different. It is different. Killing someone is different than murdering someone. The end result is the same. Yes. The end state is the same. That the person is no longer living. But
whether it's accidental or intentional.
It's intention, it's means, it's your heart. It's those kind of things.
That would still fall under subjectively.
No, you can measure that objectively. What I'm saying is that if you're killing in defense, it is not murder. Murder would be killing.
All right, so we're arguing the word factual on that, not the actual action.
Right, the intention.
Which is not what I'm going on along the line.
But that's what the objective truth part is.
No, because that's still just a word fact.
No, because you can't just say, well, someone dying is wrong. Because that's subjective.
No,
that's like,
killing,
oh yeah, I feel bad when someone dies. Yeah.
My thing is, killing someone, no matter what your case be, is wrong. Because the fact is, or not, we're not even gonna go with wrong. It's just an act you do, right? You kill somebody. Period at the end. You murdered this person, whether intentional or not intentional. It's murdering somebody. You killed somebody.
So then there is objective truth.
There's
objective right and wrong. You're arguing that there is objective right and wrong.
How is it wrong, right or wrong there? Because the thing is, you're saying that murder specifically, even though it's just the factual word and not the actual.
Yes, but we are in agreement here. Then there is objective truth.
There are points of it, but
what is the objective truth of right and wrong? So there is right and wrong. So what's the point in the argument? You already agree with me.
Because you're arguing the murder charge.
No, I was just getting you to the point of saying that there was right and wrong, and you've already said that now.
Okay.
So I win.
No, we're not arguing in the sense of right or whether one of us is right.
Yeah, but the thing was that you were like, is there such a thing as right and wrong? And you agree there is such a thing as right and wrong.
I agree,
so there you go. We both agree there is such a thing
factual.
as right and wrong.
You're using factual things. I'm talking about straight up killing someone. Period. At the end, no matter what it is. How can you determine that that's right and wrong? You're saying murder because we chose a wording.
It's motivation. It's your intention. That's what makes it right or wrong. Because if you're killing in defense, your intention is not.
Also stealing. You can bring it down to stealing.
Killing in defense is not intentionally murdering someone. It's not intentionally taking their life. It's not premeditated. I'm going to kill this person to take their life. It's they're going to kill me or harm someone. So in defense of that, to preserve their life, I'll do everything to the end.
Okay, then we're going to use that same. We're going to use that same argument.
Okay.
All right. So bank robber robs a bank.
Yeah.
They will get charged manslaughter.
Why?
Because if they kill someone during that process without the proper medication of actually killing anyone, they just do it.
Yeah.
That's considered manslaughter versus an actual murder.
Right.
How is that okay?
That one's wrong too. That's wrong too because it's all about intention and heart.
But they weren't wanting to kill anybody, but they did it.
Right.
So how is that okay?
They did it for wrong means. They did it for wrong intention.
But based off what you're saying, them killing that person shouldn't be considered wrong. It was
that's not what I'm saying.
It was manslaughter, not actual murder.
No, but see, the one thing in my example, defending your family and everything is that you're defending, you're protecting life. You're protecting
life by taking life.
Yeah.
How's that okay?
you're protecting life by doing anything necessary to preserve it.
So, no, that's not true. By doing anything necessary to preserve it means you shoot the guy's legs. You don't kill them.
Right.
But
There you go.
a lot of times people kill people during that process.
Yeah.
So that would still be considered murder.
It could be adrenaline. Could be just the pressure of the moment, you know? The
That's-
heat of the moment,
That's
as they
not
say.
that's not an objective truth, though.
Yeah, it's all subjective, right. All
And,
that's
like,
subjective.
So murder itself can't possibly be, because under the category of actual murder, and we're not using the fact of murder.
What
the
I'm
wording,
saying is there are plenty of gray areas where where causing the death of another individual is not wrong. You know,
it
universal.
can't be right, though.
Through
Either.
universal truth.
It can't be right either.
Yeah, it can.
No, it can't.
Yeah.
No, not in that situation. Not in any situation, actually. Just killing someone, to kill someone is what we would consider quote unquote bad.
Okay, so
Killing
if
someone to
someone
defend
was
someone
going
else
to kill my
Still
family,
is quote unquote bad.
if I'm witnessing my family being attacked,
That's an emotional reaction that you choose to do something about it.
well, they're already doing the thing that's wrong, and I'm going to
So
prevent
snuffing
it.
them out is okay.
I'm preventing them from doing the thing that's wrong.
By doing something wrong.
Through any
two
means
rights,
necessary.
Two wrongs don't make a right, right?
That's not what
So,
I'm
like,
saying.
But it is the end goal.
No,
It's
the
the
end
end
goal
result.
is the defense of,
It's the
of
end
my
result,
family.
though. Like, so not goal, result. It's the end result is that you're still murdering this human being, even if you don't consider it murder. Let's pretend that words are the definite, finite truth, which is not.
Wow.
You take a life, you take a life. Period. Off the end.
Mm-hmm.
How is it okay? By defending yourself by using words does not make it okay. Does not make it a finite truth. It's just a way of expressing yourself and making you feel better about the end result of what took place. That's not a truth. That's just a way to give an excuse to an act that you did.
I'm sure you'd still feel bad about it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
subjectively,
saying.
but I'm
not,
saying
it's
that
not
the
an objective
universal.
thing. It's not an objective thing at that point, because it's literally just your feeling of how do I rationalize what took place. That's rationalizing is not an objective truth. And
I agree.
Using different words is how we rationalize things that we do.
I guess.
So you saying murder being an objective truth.
I feel like words are how we categorize and distinguish between what we're doing. I wouldn't say we use words to rationalize.
We use words to rationalize entirely. That's what we do. That's
Well,
what words are used for.
Isn't
is
that
to
just a
rationalize.
byproduct of communication, not necessarily the intent?
Generally, it's the intent. You use words to rationalize an action that took place. Because do we actually need the words to tell you that I murdered I killed that person? No, but you now use words to rationalize why you did that thing.
Yeah, called communication.
So we rationalize everything via words. Now, if we just take the bold action, which is what I'm actually asking about, is how is something right and wrong, which is an action, not a word use based, an action, right and wrong. Is there an objective truth to those?
Yeah. Yeah, there is objective right and objective wrong.
Because, like, I agreed with you on the murder if we're using just objective words. If we're just using the words. Because, yes, murder, objectively, based on how we determine it, or
get
how
down.
we word it, is this. But the actual action itself, could you classify it as being right or wrong? And some people say yes, like you do, with the whole I killed a man in defense, or I killed a man just because I could.
Well, no, I'm not even talking from my perspective, though. The thing is, there is universal truth. There is
Yeah, but I
universally
would not consider
right
murder.
and wrong.
I would not consider killing someone in general a universal right and wrong.
You know, I am going to have to agree with you on that. Simply from the fact that that's a byproduct of being fallen.
Yeah.
It's a byproduct because universal truth is that no death should ever happen, kind of thing. And I agree.
Right.
I do agree.
So then, therefore, we'll move over to murder.
I do agree.
Now, another one that comes into mind is the steal. I mentioned it a little earlier.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you steal to feed your family.
Yep.
Or you steal because you want to make some money. Now, we look at, because I wanted to use the exact same example, but just less ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Right and wrong in that scenario. Now, that being said, the court will take it as all wrong.
Right.
Period.
Yeah. Because it is.
But as humans, we determine whether something is right and wrong. So
Yeah,
you can look
that's
at a Robin Hood
that is definitely a real fun moral.
quandary.
Yeah, I guess quandary is the right way to put it. It is definitely, but if you're just gonna go at it from a completely emotionless and just pure
I think that's the only way
fact,
you could do
which
it.
is what makes that's the difference between object and subject.
Yeah.
Or objective and subjective, to be more specific. But that difference there is that no, both are wrong because you're taking what doesn't belong to you. The end.
Okay.
The end. Even if you have good intentions. And
So-
so I guess you can use that same argument with murder, even if good intentions. If you take the life of someone else, it's something that wasn't yours, and you took it away.
Now I'm going to go to the actual meat of the argument that I've been having with people at work. It's been so much fun. They're all just human actions. There's no such thing. We determined it based off of the fact that we didn't agree because of social Darwinism. We didn't like that because it did something to another human being. As social creatures, we think it's better that we all survive together, right?
We do have a social construct of, written rules and conduct
of how we should behave and how we should do things.
Yes, but
now,
those aren't the universal truth. Those
no,
are
those
are us.
Yes,
those are
exactly.
human. That's humans coming up with it. Yes.
Exactly. And so
That's not universal truth.
which is where I came from. The idea with is that everything else everything is just human actions. Human nature doing what we do, whether, as you said, we were fallen creatures. So, in the sense of right and fucking wrong there, if we're just doing something, does that not just make us human? Whether it be killing another person, whether it be stealing an item, whether it be blah, 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 does it fall into the category of right and wrong if it's just an action that we take?
Well, most likely if we just take an action, it's going to be wrong.
I mean, I wouldn't say breathing is wrong, but like breathing these are probably wrong for bad for us. But like
that's involuntary, right?
I mean, you could stop yourself from breathing.
Yeah, you can voluntarily stop breathing, yes. But no, I think that if you, not you specifically, but I think in human nature, as fallen creatures, if we are given any choice, we'll always pick the bad one.
You think so?
Yeah, I do, because of human nature. I think it takes active will. It takes an active will and decision to do the right thing.
So do you think our construct is what keeps people from doing bad things on a consistent basis?
I think it does help. Because if you just said anarchy,
yeah,
right?
Pure anarchy rules the whole world.
Yeah, you would have a huge increase in crime because there would be no system set in place for punishment. Because I do think that it's very helpful that there's a situation, I don't know what example really to use, but we'll just use stealing, right? There's a situation where you're like, oh, I could take this thing, but then you do have to weigh the consequences of that because we've established that there's penalties set in place for taking something that's not yours.
You did this.
You could get away with it. You could get away with it, and there's a lot of people that do steal. But there's at least, before you do a decision that we have determined is wrong, we have helped guide and make a more hey, you really got to think about doing. You have to make an active decision to
so
do
then at
those
that point it
certain
becomes a
things.
social consciousness, not an actual mental consciousness that you would do on your own.
Yes.
Such as if you were,
right. Cause, I mean, you just look at children.
Life.
Just look at children. Until rules are established, they just do whatever they want for themselves.
Yeah, it's a very selfish action.
Yeah, until you start establishing punishment. Because when you establish consequences, that's when you start learning that there are consequences and that you shouldn't do these things just to be selfish.
Now, that being said, because it is a social construct, that's why I fall into the category that there is technically no right and wrong. It's just a social infraction.
Well, that's the thing. There's layers here, right? There is universal truth.
There's definitely universal truth. As we said earlier, planets, sun, stars. They exist, we see them, we know that.
You're right, but I also, by that, I mean that there is universal right and universal wrong. And good and evil, whatever you want to break it down
but
into.
I want to know an example of that that's not just based off of how we perceive things. Because all of it is down to social Darwinism and how we perceive every action and reaction to it. If you really break it down, everything that we consider right and wrong, evil, good, is based off of a ideology.
It's a derivative. It's a derivative of those.
Of what we chose.
all our social construct of rules is a derivative of the universal truths, the universal rights and wrongs. We've derived from them to come up with all these subsets of rules and regulations that really come down to the core of love everyone, be nice.
So then if you're going based off of the idea of that, which would have to come down to, if there was a objective truth, it would come down to karma. Is based on what we follow. So a man breaks
karma is real. It's just not.
No, I know where you're going with it, which is it's not the level that everyone else sees, which is the whole idea of eye to eye, essentially. Like a man steals a car and then gets murdered by someone else. Like, that's stupid. It's not karma. That's just bad timing and shitty luck.
And I don't know if it's like I don't want to be so out there and say that like no, there is a universal force that when you do something wrong you will get punished for it. I don't necessarily think that's the case, but through just the web of the connection of the world, when you do wrong things, that does line up this outcome that eventually it all comes back.
That's the whole idea of fate. Whatever path you choose.
But you're making your own fate.
Yeah, no. Fate. If you go off,
some consequences are less, some consequences are more, some take longer to come around.
You're going off the fates of like the idea of like literally, I take a left today. Right?
It's like the butterfly effect. Yeah, exactly. I took a left. Yeah.
And then because I took a left, unfortunately, someone else is coming down this road and does something.
But
stupid.
then because you also have to calculate or take into account that everyone is constantly making decisions all the time.
Which can affect someone else.
That's why I think a ripple effect, like pebbles dropped in an ocean. And I think that's probably a super vague, but probably better than a spider web way of explaining it. Is that it's like a bunch of people throwing pebbles in this ocean, and eventually the waves will collide.
If you looked at it like mythological fate, no, the spiderweb makes sense because, like, think about it. You shake this one, like, into the fly that gets on this line, then the fate comes and just devours you. But no.
But I was using a spider web to mean more of, like, the threads that connect us all through our choices and actions.
Outlines that go, or not outlines, but other strings that pop out this way and go to the other way.
Right, where we're constantly, all of us are constantly affecting each other through indirect means.
Yeah,
constantly. Something my neighbor does affects me, whether indirect or not. Yeah. You know, it does affect me. My actions affect them. Pulling out on the street. You know, if I take a left-hand turn out on the street and it causes someone to slam on their brake, that affects them. It affects the person behind them, and there's a chain reaction.
Yeah, that could eventually cause a wreck way down the road.
Right. You know, just to give a weird example for it, but where it's like. That's where I think there is like this sort of a karma where eventually your wrong action will come back to bite you.
It may not be immediately.
Yeah, it could take a long time, but it's just because that thing triggered this thing that triggered and like into the butterfly effect of eventually, because you did that bad thing, this happened. Okay. But then you can also, which is crazy, is that you're doing good actions could come back to bite you too.
Yeah, totally.
That's why I don't like the whole term of karma, but it is there.
Yeah. Karma, the thing is, if you word karma based off of how it actually works in the reality that we live in, not the imagined reality that most people deem it as. Where it's almost like a deity almost.
Yeah, exactly. That blesses you with good luck because you did good things and curses you with bad luck.
That's not how that works. Reality sets in and says that no, karma is just that things that you do will have an effect, whether it be good or bad, is really determined on almost everyone else.
Yeah, it's also determined on you because it's your outlook.
Yeah, and
for
how
when
you
a thing happens.
What is it? What is that the scientist thing that Bob made us watch? I don't know if you were there for it.
I don't know.
Where it was like a guy spoken to did flowers, I think is what it was, and told it was like, or maybe it was just plants. But it was like, you're beautiful, you're blah blah blah.
Oh,
like,
right, yeah, because sound waves.
And then the other one was like, you're ugly, you're this, and like you could see a noticeable difference in the two after a week. And then after a month, it was like one was wilted and one was dying. And I think the person did the same thing with just regular water. Yeah. And it was just like, one of them said,
I know what you're talking
ugly,
about.
And it's like one became stagnant and just full of gunk.
Yeah, because the weave is real.
Yeah, and it's like
the weave, you know, so like really, your words really do have power over things.
Which is where I came.
But then that's where I'm, because sound waves reside in everything.
Oh yeah. But it's really just the vibration, the connectivity of everything as we, our whole body is humming even though we don't feel it.
Right. The planet's humming. Yeah, everything's humming. Everything is making
so
sound.
everything reacts upon
whether
it's
it's
there.
but our ears just we don't pick up. Just like how dogs have a better sense of hearing.
Yeah, sense of hearing, sense of smell, which is interesting. But anyway, that's a different story. But that's where I was coming up with the idea with when I was talking to my coworkers, and like I always play devil's advocate. Even in situations like this where I had to wait, I was like, oh, no, I agree with you because I do agree with you on the objective right and wrong in the universe. But in order to keep the conversation going, I'm always going to take the devil's advocate and choose how you're actually going to word it. So to say when we talked about murder, I was like, no, let's not go based off of our wording of it. Let's go based off of what there actually is. Mm-hmm. And so like karma, we both can agree is a thing that takes place.
Yeah. Right.
Where
definitely. I don't think. Yeah, we agree.
Yeah, no,
we agree.
We've clarified enough for the people for it to register that it's like no, we don't agree with your idea.
Yeah, when we say karma, we mean what we've described what we mean by it, karma, not what other people might say.
Yeah, because I've run into way too many people that their idea of karma, I've looked at them and like, I don't agree with you. I just don't believe in your karma then.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. Like, because your karma sounds insane and like a mad woman. Just be honest. Like, she's a scornful bitch is what just took place is your idea of karma. Yeah. And I don't want any part of that.
You got to be really, 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 really good and you might have good things happen to you. But if you do one bad thing
at all, dude,
hellstorm.
It could end up you dying.
Yeah.
It's like, I stole this item. Next thing you know, you're murdered on the street because you stole an item. That's shitty karma.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I don't want that. I consider that bad luck. I don't consider that karma. Like, in the grand scheme of it all, like, what is really luck? But anyway, good and bad. Yeah. I will agree with you. I will concede.
Right and wrong.
Right and wrong there is an objective truth, but it is not the objective truth that we as humans perceive. I think that's my lay of it.
Well, I do think that we have a social law.
Okay, I was really hoping you weren't going to say responsibility because I have a whole other argument for that one.
No, I don't know. I don't know about that. I'd have to really think about a social responsibility of the. I don't know.
I'll let you bring that up later.
Yeah, but, I don't know about that. That sounds
stupid.
Collectivism.
Right.
That sounds like collectivism, and no, I believe in individualism. It's just that I know my actions affect everyone, and their actions affect me. But that doesn't mean we should have collectivism where I should. We're not going. I don't want to
explain where they came from. Okay, the collective idea that you have a social responsibility. Okay, so you're walking down the street. And there's a man on the side, a homeless man.
Yeah.
On the side, by the way.
Yeah.
And you have the means and wealth to give him enough to get back on his feet.
Okay.
And not even feel it at all.
Okay.
So buying a house, buying a car, get him a new job, all this.
That doesn't fix anything.
It doesn't fix anything, but it gives you. But a lot of people see that as you having a social responsibility to do that.
No, that's socialism.
Exactly. It's like, how do I have a social responsibility to help a man who won't help himself? Even God in Judeo-Christian Bible beliefs it says that God will help them who help themselves.
Right.
So it's like, if that's the case.
That's why I was saying that, someone could do that, but the dude's just going to wind back up on the street in a year or so.
Yeah.
Because
he may go, whatever his fault that got him there was.
Otherwise, he can dig himself out.
Yeah, exactly. And there's plenty of people who've done that.
What?
Let's use the mythological story about Rocky. What's his name?
Stallone?
Yes. Okay. So I don't know if it's
Sylvester?
True. Yeah. I don't know if it's actually true, but there's a story of him being homeless before the first Rocky movie.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And like he went to these auditions, kept failing over and over, and but he kept going over and over, and got a role as Rocky. So that being said,
let me see.
No one had the social responsibility to pull him up by his bootstraps. He had to do it himself. That's really what it comes down to. It's like I don't understand how people are like, you have that social responsibility. If you can do something, you should do something. It's like, no. Just because I can doesn't mean I have to. Doesn't mean I have a social responsibility to help another human being who refuses to help himself. So like, if you can't feed yourself, all right, then no, I'm not gonna help feed you for no freaking reason. Now, I'll help feed my friends because I just want to. That's not a social responsibility. That's a desire that I like to do.
Yeah, it's not your responsibility. Like, saying
Right.
it's a responsibility is what's throwing me off
Yeah,
about
no,
that.
but there's people that believe that you have a social responsibility to do certain things like that. Such as corporations have a social responsibility if they're gonna throw out all their food and at the end of the night, like McDonald's and shit like that, to give it to the homeless. Why? They don't have that responsibility at all. Those
No.
homeless people chose not to do what it. Some
But-
actually do choose not to, though. That's the part that blows my mind.
They can be charitable, though, if
Yeah,
they want
you
to.
can totally be
You
charitable,
can choose
and
to be.
I can agree with that.
It's not a responsibility, though.
Exactly, I can agree with that. You can choose to, like, if they choose to
Charity
have
is
a charity
a wonderful
and
thing
do things
that you're
like
not
that.
required to do.
But yeah, no, that's the problem, and which is why some charities are generally tax-free, because you weren't required to do that. You
Yep.
just did it.
And it's like, dude, you're an awesome person.
Good job. So here's a kudos, which is dumb that we give them a kudos, but again, that's probably part of capitalism that we both agree that is fantastic. So if you guys don't agree with us on capitalism, whatever.
Capitalism is the best. The West is the best.
It's like, just communism and socialism doesn't make sense in reality. If you actually look and do studies on it, the only real way to do a socialist economy, it would be a utopia, which we've all seen is not actually practical because of human behavior and reactions to things. Such as, I give you an item, and you don't like the item I gave you. You now retaliate and just start destroying my company or whatever I'm using to help you out. Like, there's just so many different ways that people can react in a socialist world that can affect and fuck up that whole entire world economy. So, like,
There's also no choice. There's no choices.
I mean, well, there's always choices. Right?
No, what I mean by that is there's no choices in a socialist economy because there's not a competitive market.
Oh, yeah, no.
So there's no actual choice. It's just
You take what is given to you.
Yeah, there's this one guy that makes hamburgers. You're gonna eat his hamburgers whether you think they taste good or not. That's the only option for hamburgers.
Yeah. The only
There-
option, but
you
the
know,
only choices
like-
you have is like, do I eat this one thing or do I eat this one thing?
You know, like we're not gonna have 15 different types of beans.
Yeah.
You get one type of bean. You know, you walk down the spaghetti aisle and you've got like 36 freaking spaghetti flavors. No, one. There's one.
I mean, I can
Yeah.
still see you having those.
27,
I
50,
can still see you having all those
6,000
options
deodorants.
in a
There's
socialist
one.
economy.
No.
But no, hear me out. I can see you still having all those options, but it being that there's only one person that produces all of those, the different ones, or even
It
just
could
all
be.
of them.
Yeah, it could be.
Where it's like,
But I'm just
this
saying,
guy
'cause,
makes
like,
all the spaghetti.
Okay,
but I get what
might
you're saying.
be exaggerating. It's just because like Bernie Sanders is hilarious,
God.
and one of the things he said was that we have too many types of deodorant. And I'm like, oh my God, you're right. I guess in socialism there wouldn't be that many choices. It's like people have too many choices. Too many choices. We have too much deodorant.
It's like, why would you? It's like you have too many choices in life. It's like, isn't that the purpose?
Isn't that great?
Like,
Isn't that
I
what
like
makes us
having